suppression. With me now, Latosha Brown, co-founder of Black Voters Matter, and Alicia Garza, one of the three women who co-founded Black Lives Matter. She's the principal of the Black to the Future Action Fund and author of The Purpose of Power. There you go. And we got the book up on the screen. So, ladies, it is wonderful to have you both on with me. And Latosha, if I may, I want to start with you. I know you've been in the thick of it. What are you hearing about examples of voter suppression?
You know, we have witnessed it. We have been on the road for the last 35 days. And so I've seen voter suppression from people who have registered to vote to say that they were not registered, that they never got their registration form, to people actually submitting to get an absentee ballot and never received that absentee ballot, down to in Galveston, Texas, where we were about 2 weeks ago. In one of the races, there are three races that are held by Republican incumbent judges, and those three races in Galveston were left off. They have challengers, and they were left off the ballot. So we've been seeing it across the board. The good news is that we've also been seeing a certain level of excitement where people are responding, that people are coming out in record numbers.
I do want to talk about the excitement. And Alicia, this is to you, specifically on the black vote. I saw the Joe Biden campaign, one final big push in Florida today. They had this Souls to the Polls event. We saw Jill Biden standing alongside members of George Floyd's family on the steps of one of Tallahassee's most well-known black churches. But I was reading, this one Florida voter said this: you don't see the enthusiasm of the two elections with Obama, where you'd see people with bumper stickers and flags and signs. I don't see it this year. I'm not going to say I'm concerned, but it's not the same. Are you concerned, Alicia?
Well, here's what I think. What I think is that the story of this election is, frankly, that movements made it happen. And sure, the Obama election was superb and it was exceptional. But we are in the middle of a pandemic. We are in the midst of an economic recession. We are in the midst of a crisis in our democracy. And so we shouldn't expect that what we're going to see is 2016 level, 2008 and 2012 level participation. But we should look at this election as its own particular phenomenon. And I'm really proud of every single person who has gotten out there, who's voted early, and every single person like Latosha who is getting people out there, making sure that people vote, making sure that people know that their votes matter, and also making sure that people know that whatever happens on Tuesday, that the story of the success of this election is that we participated. And we participated at record levels given the conditions that we're facing right now.
Well, Latosha, let's talk about your personal participation. I mean, obviously, I follow you on all the socials, and I saw your emotional video from the other day when you cast your ballot. You were talking about just thinking about your mother and your grandmother and the women before you. Can you just talk to me about your emotions in that moment?
Yeah, I went to vote. I came back. We've been on the road. Black Voters Matter. We actually have been on our We Got Power bus tour. And so we've been on the road for, I think it's 37 days. And we came home so I could vote on Friday. And I expected just to go in and vote and get back to business, come back to work. And while I was in there, I saw Kamala Harris's name. I did not expect to have this reaction at all. I saw her name on the ballot and I was overwhelmed with emotion. All I could think about is my grandmother and my mother and my grandmothers before them, and in that moment, I thought about it. I just voted. For me, I just voted for a black woman for vice president of this country, and I was overwhelmed. I went in my car and I sat down for probably about 20 minutes before I could really gather myself, because I knew how significant that moment was. And I also feel that same kind of.
Oh, do we lose her? Live TV. Alicia, let me come back to you. We've still got Alicia. She was just such a gripping story, and just to watch, tears, falling from the corners of her eyes, just thinking about, summoning history and the women who came before her, and knowing that she was voting for a black woman potentially as vice president of this country.